stomach's growling. He's got to get out.
Uh-huh. For people who've always wondered, here's how the show begins, right there. And right here's how the show begins as well. And there's Mike Smith. So we're doing a little something here on, well, this will be on Facebook probably a little bit later on. But I just wanted to take a moment to capture this guy in his natural setting and this guy in his natural setting. And I'm the other guy. Hi, we're the three guys. You've heard of the hamburger joint.
The three amigos.
We're just the three guys. Yeah. And we don't do the, welcome to Litter Media Live for this Thursday. It's the 10th of April of 2025 with the icon Mike Smith. I'm Dan Ramey, and there is Mr. Hand 2. Oh, very nice. Hanging with the Ducks.
Yeah. He's really been flipped
There
upside
he
down.
is.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like he needs new shoes. He's wearing the soles out on those. It is time to get you caught up to date on how things are happening across the Scioto Valley, not just in our immediate neighborhood, but all of our neighborhoods, our communities. Well, I'll tell you about the good stuff going on. And let's start with the weather. Is it good or no?
Dry this afternoon. I think we've pretty much finished with most of the rain. Around noontime, we think that's going to lift. You might see a mixture of sun and clouds late afternoon. Lawn mowing may be one of those coin tosses today. Depends on how quickly your grass dries. But we're looking for a high of 57. Mostly cloudy Friday and Saturday with a high of 52. Partly sunny on Sunday with a high of 59, and then maybe some rain on Monday afternoon.
Mm-hmm. Still have yet to get the mower out. So we'll probably be bailing while we cut at the Ramey Ranch. All right, coming up in just a moment to look at news, sports, and this date in history. Plus today, we have our Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week announcement coming up, so stick close for that. But first, let's tell you about Scioto Valley Dumpsters. If you've got a cleanup job that needs to be done, 740-253-8389. In some instances, they can also do cleanup jobs for you. But if you're just doing it on your own and you need a dumpster, give them a call. 740-253-8389.
As a basketball coach and a dad, I need to be able to keep up.
Mark came to the Adina Orthopedic and Spine Institute in severe arm pain from a degenerative disc.
I was so confident in Dr. Fleming, he explained everything.
Together, they decided on minimally invasive spinal surgery to relieve Mark's pain and get him back to what matters most. At Adina, we do what we love, so you can too.
Introducing the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. We want to put your pet in the spotlight. Pets with paws to pets with fins. If they gallop, crawl, or slither, play fetch, or simply curl up and snuggle. Send us a photo of your pet and we'll announce a new pet each week. And one pet will be crowned Pet of the Year. To nominate your pet, visit littermedia.com. Click on Pet of the Week. Tell us about your pet and be sure to include a photo. Watch Litter Media Live each Thursday for the announcement of the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. No purchase necessary. Contest applications must be from Ohio residents and at least 18 years old.
Whenever I first applied for the Archways opportunity, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Like, is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, like to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
Each week, we'll announce the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And in December, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Nominate any amateur athlete by visiting littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. You'll also see the players we've named throughout the year. Make your nomination today for the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union.
The Bean Foundation wants to raise awareness about suicide prevention by sharing 988. Trained crisis counselors are available to talk 24/7, 365 days a year. 988. Save the number. Save a life. To learn more about the Bean Foundation, click on this ad on littermedia.com.
Follow along at littermedia.com. It's where you can see some of the news stories we have for you already. But you also can follow us on our social media, Facebook, Litter Media X, Spotify. We've got Instagram out there, Litter Media Radio. All that is available up in the upper right-hand corner, plus YouTube, which if you're watching us live right now, you're seeing us on YouTube right now as well. At the top of the news today, Mike Smith.
Using grant funds through the American Rescue Plan Act, the Ross County Board of DD and Pioneer Center worked throughout last year on the installation of permanent adult-sized changing stations at a variety of public locations throughout the county. Current partners include the YMCA of Ross County, where this picture was taken. That's Steve Clever in the background. Ross County Fairgrounds, Mighty Children's Museum, OU Chillicothe Shoemaker Center, VA Memorial Stadium, Camp Cattail, and also Chillicothe Ross Public Library. Also, a station was installed in the front lobby at the Pioneer Center offices on Main Street that's open to the public during business hours. 3 additional sites will be installed this year.
Did you have a summer job as a kid?
I did. Farm.
On the farm, did you ever work at the dairy cone?
No.
You didn't get to do that?
My brother and sister did, but I was too young.
You just brought all your friends over for free ice cream.
That's exactly what I did. I was a hit.
Well, the state of Ohio wants to have their teens able to work, and if they don't take the necessary steps, that summer excitement may quickly turn into disappointment. Ohio youth and their parents or guardians take steps now to understand whether they will need to secure a minor work permit. That's MINOR, not to send you out to the coal mines. While youth aged 14, 15, 16, and 17 are required to have a minor work permit during the school year, the rules change slightly during the summer. So during the summer break, when school isn't in session, only individuals aged 14 and 15 are required to have a work permit. So you got those teenagers, you want to have bale hay and that sort of thing, pay attention to how old they are.
Yeah.
But chances are, if they're working for grandpa on the farm,
yeah,
who needs that? Because that's like you're helping the family there.
That's great. One more reminder about this Saturday concerning the Scioto River cleanup. It's the 28th annual. This goes on from 9 a.m. till noon. The event is held near the back right parking lot of the Chillicothe Annex near the boat ramp. Dress accordingly. Might have some mud boots or gloves and things of that nature, but I think they supply all of the trash bags so that you can put the garbage in.
And I would suggest not having like jersey gloves. Get some of them that might be leather.
Right.
Just because you never know, you might get a poke or something by whatever you're picking up along the river there. This is also Spring Fling Weekend over in Vinton County, at the Vinton County Fairgrounds. It takes place Friday through Sunday. So if you plan on camping out in Vinton County, campsites available. Just contact Chris Martin and get you taken care of.
The Knights of Columbus, Council 15793, has a host a drive-through food distribution from 10 to noon this Saturday. And you say, wait a minute, Mike, it doesn't jive with when they usually have this. Well, as you might remember, last month we told you that they were going on the second weekend of this month. They'll go back to their regular next month. And the reason for that is next week's Easter. Mm-hmm. So that is this Saturday, 10 to noon, right there behind St. Pete's.
Coming up in a couple of weekends, it is the Drug Take Back across the nation. 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. on April 26th around the state. Most county law enforcement agencies will have disposal bin to place these unused drugs. You can contact your local law enforcement about drop-off box locations. Don't forget, Chillicothe Civic Theater's The Great Gatsby opens up tonight and runs all through the weekend, plus a Sunday performance at 2 p.m., but tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday night at 7 p.m., and then they'll do it again next weekend, but only Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And, of course, the $1.50 steps off tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock, and they'll be running through early afternoon on Saturday. Might even be late afternoon, depends on how late those stragglers come in.
And as we'll dovetail that in with our road report too, when motorists are out, please be careful watching for the runners. And they run 24/7. They'll be out there at night. Now, usually they've got their glow rings or glow sticks with them.
Yeah.
But you still need to be very careful when you're out there driving.
Then you have on your road report.
That'll be it.
Okay.
That's a good enough road report for today.
That it is. That it is. So when you see the headlight that's bobbing up and down, that's somebody running, and they've got an actual flashlight on their head.
Yeah.
So, all right, sports on the way in just a moment. But first, let's tell you about Haynes Total Health Care Center. You'll find them at One Health Drive here in Chillicothe. And chiropractic, physical therapy, and nutritional needs, have been keeping an eye on that for more than 50 years now. If you've got a chiropractic need, maybe you're not happy with who you've been seeing, go see Haynes. They can get you taken care of. Click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com, and that takes you right to their website, hayneshealth.com.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
Life. It can get on top of you quickly, can't it? But with 211, it only takes one step to get connected to the help you need. 211 is always available to help. So get in touch today.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Time now for sports.
He gave a truthism during the break, but you couldn't hear it. But I'm vouching what he said is gospel. Yeah.
Thank you. Let's start off with sports here.
High school baseball from the Litter Media scoreboard last night. And yes, we are thankful for all of you that go to our score page each night to get these scores. And there's a lot of you. High school baseball in the SVC, Unioto, Zane Trace, Westfall, and Huntington were all winners. Of those four winners, Westfall, Zane Trace, and Unioto are the lone conference unbeatens. Jackson gets a win over Hillsborough in the FAC. That was the only baseball league game in that conference last night. Amanda Clear Creek beat Logan Elm in the Buckeye. MSL Cardinal, Grove City Christian, and Fairfield Christian winners. SOC3, this was a pitcher's duel. Valley beat Waverly 1-0. Wheelersburg over West. South Webster beat Minford. In D2, it's Sims Valley over Eastern. Northwest, yeah, this is not a softball score. That was a baseball score. Northwest over Western, 27-3. This was a wild one. Portsmouth Clay rallied from a deficit, I think it was 12-5, to beat Notre Dame on a walk-off single by Dawson James, 11-10, the final. Let's see, down in the OCC, Reynoldsburg beat Tays Valley, Lancaster over Groveport Madison. TVC winners, Athens, Vinton County, Eastern Megs, and Nelsonville York. In the Shack, this one is a complete game, but it was called in the sixth due to rain. Lynchburg Clay beat Fairfield 3-0. Manchester over White Oak 4-3, a game that did not get completed. Eastern Brown was leading Peebles 9-4. They suspended that in the fourth. They'll pick it up later. OVC baseball, Ironton, South Point, and Fairland all winners. In softball, Hillsborough does it. They win the season series against Jackson, winning 2 straight in as many days, 15-6. That game, though, was called because of weather after 5 complete innings. Here's another one that was a wild comeback. The Lady Tigers of McLean down 12-5, also against Miami Trace, scored all of those runs in the 7th inning and win it in a walk-off. SVC softball winners were Piketon over Unioto, Zane Trace, Westfall, and Adena, all victorious. MSL Buckeye winners were Bloom, Carroll, Logan Elm in the SOC3, Wheelersburg Valley, and South Webster in SOC2. Northwest, Sims Valley, Oak Hill, Notre Dame in one, and there's a bunch more scores there as well. No tennis or what else is last night? I think tonight is the
Track and field
it's the R.L. Davison Invitational, I believe.
at Southeastern.
At Southeastern. I think that's usually this weekend each month, and that's usually a biggie. They've got usually 30-some teams. If that is the case this year, we'll have a story on that tomorrow. Had a chance to go out and visit with Scioto baseball coach Tony Taylor yesterday. Tony, earlier this week, picked up career win 400. He talks about 25 years of baseball coaching.
There's so many. I mean, so many great players, great assistant coaches that I've had over the years. Wayne Potter, taking care of the field, he's amazing how he does it every year. I wouldn't be here if he wasn't doing that all the time. But going to the regionals there 3 times. Those were big years there that we knew we were that close of making it to the state. It was kind of nice the other night that Eric Cox came in. He was like, I was here for your, because I coached him. I was here for your first win, and I'm here tonight to watch your 400th win. So that was kind of, I was like, caught me off guard. I'm like, wow, that's kind of, and everything, when you've been around this long, you're old. You've been at it this long. So, but, Scioto, give me the opportunity and to be at one school. There's not too many people that stays, 35 years at Scioto that have taught. So, and an assistant coach for a bunch of years before that. So, but it's been fun.
And Scioto, as we told you earlier, got a big win over Piketon last night, 12-0. And Scioto, part of the interview, which you can find on our YouTube site, it's talking about how tough the SVC is in baseball this year. And pitching rules in high school baseball. If you've got 2 pitching starters on your team that are legit, you're going to be hard to beat. And Tony said there's a number of teams that have that scenario this year. So wouldn't be shocked to see a conference champ that has 1 or 2 losses this year.
Unless you've got really good hitting. And that really, it doesn't always equal out, though, because pitching always seems to still have a leg up on that. Yesterday, I was driving along, and my Sirius XM gave me a score alert, and I'm like, what is this? I heard this dinging, and I wasn't sure what it was, and it said game alert on there, and I punched it, and it brought me up to the Reds and the Giants, and it gave me a Red score of 3-0 at that point in time, so I started listening to it, and so I was getting the San Francisco Giants audio feed, and I was listening to the game, and they went up 5-0, and I'm like, hey, this could be really good. And I thought, no, wait a second. It's early. And darned if it didn't fall apart. 8-6 the final, thanks to Yastrzemski hitting one out of the ballpark into Covey Cove. Or is it McCovey Cove? McCovey Cove, and there it is. So Reds
10 innings.
Missed the opportunity to sweep the series. And the reason it was a 2-run home run is because you start with somebody on base in the 10th inning. So now they're back home to take on Pittsburgh. And you could hit a ballpark out or bit a ball out of the ballpark in Cincinnati and hit it into the water right now because the water is up around Great American Ballpark. We'll see if that plays out when they get into action. The Guardians picked up a win, 3-2, and that win over the White Sox as the White Sox had difficulty last year. They lost more than 100 games, and now it looks like nothing has changed. Cleveland Cavaliers are in Indiana to take on the Pacers tonight, and also the Buffalo Sabres are in Columbus to take on the Blue Jackets this evening. Yesterday's program, we talked about can the Cleveland Cavaliers get the best record. They have 3 games left. Oklahoma City has 2 games left. And if Oklahoma City were to lose their 2 games and the Cavaliers win their 3, they would end up with a half-game lead and have the best record overall. However, the 2 teams that Oklahoma City are playing have a combined win of about 30 games. So I can't remember who they're playing tonight, but they have won 12 games on the season.
Gotcha.
12 games. How do you still have an NBA franchise? It's a tough question to ask. You see the hometown logo right there at the bottom of our screen, those of you watching on Litter Media on YouTube. Well, of course, they've got their spring sales event is underway. New riding tractors starting at $1699.99. New zero-turn mowers starting at $3399.99. New walk-behinds starting at $399.99. I was trying to get it in before it switched over to Tomlinson there. New chainsaws starting at $279.99. New blowers starting at $199.99. And if you need those trimmers for the hedges and everything, new trimmers starting at $229.99. Hurry in to get the best selection. With prices like this, they won't last long. Hometown Motors is your store for the outdoors. Up ahead, we will take a look at our Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week.
But in the meantime, online propane monitoring and reporting. Know your home's consumption and gas remaining in the tank. Find out more at litterpropane.com.
Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Dixie Chopper. Speed when you need it.
Visit your local Dixie Chopper dealer today or visit DixieChopper.com.
Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is your trusted comfort advisor. Of course, if you're one of their customers, you know that already. But if you are not a customer of Accurate, click on this ad anywhere you see it on our website, littermedia.com, and it will take you to their website, AccurateHVAC.com. You'll see they've got 8 different offices across southern Ohio, and they've got a wide territory, and they do a lot of things. Find out what they do by going to littermedia.com and click on this ad for Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Time to announce our Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. And Mayor Gawalik sends in to us Samso, a.k.a. Sam, is a 7-year-old therapy dog. He is following in his brothers Ty and I believe it's Takio's footsteps as he works in our local schools and libraries, listening to children read or just cuddle for a little bit. He loves the treats that he gets when he is awarded for training practice, and he's a fabulous flunky. Know what that means?
I'm not sure.
A fabulous flunky means that he couldn't be a service dog because he had some elbow dysplasia. But he's doing great. His only problem is, and it's definitely not a problem, he doesn't bark. He's the barkless dog, Samso, but he loves to sit and listen with the kids. So congratulations, Samso. This week's Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. You can send your nominations to littermedia@gmail.com, and you can see all the pets selected this year. I have yet to put Samso up, so we'll get him up on there before we get done here today. Selected at littermedia.com. Just click where it says Petland Pet of the Week. Congratulations, Samso. All right, time now for this date in history. We go back to
1970.
All right.
And I remember the day that this happened. When promoting the release of his forthcoming solo album, Paul McCartney announces that he's taking a break from the Beatles, the legendary rock band that he'd been a part of for the decade. Wasn't much of a surprise, and it became more than a break as the Beatles announced that they had broken up. Paul McCartney says, "So long, sayonara, Yoko." Do you think Yoko really broke up the Beatles, or do you think this was just they were sick of each other?
I don't know that Yoko would have broken them up as much as John would have just decided, you know what, I'm stuck between two masters here. Yoko and a group that I've been a part of for a long time, and it's amazing when you sit down, you see how much music they performed in such a short amount of time, and then the longevity that it's all had, but then you realize how short-lived the Beatles were.
Right.
Crazy.
2 times performed in Cincinnati. I don't know if they ever performed in any other Ohio cities. They were at the Cincinnati Gardens once, and they were at Crosley Field once.
Yeah, I can't remember. When I was in Columbus Radio, they were celebrating an anniversary of their arrival. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember if it was the 35th anniversary or something like that. But we had some people call in saying that they were there at the airport when they landed, but I can't remember if it was Port Columbus or if it was another airport within Ohio.
But our friend Larry Roberts, the famous video where John Lennon is explaining a controversial comment that he had made days before in a magazine article, Larry Roberts was the guy that asked the question that everybody, the world, saw John Lennon responding to that on video.
He was definitely there. I can't remember if he asked the question.
He was the one. That was Larry said in an interview that we did, I thought you were on that interview, where he said there was a press conference in Toronto because the Beatles were coming to Cincinnati the following week.
And he was working for Canadian radio at the time.
Well, I thought he was in Cincinnati, and they sent him to Toronto because they were coming to Cincinnati the following week. That was the story I thought I heard Larry say.
Maybe I'm remembering it reversely.
But when the press was offered the opportunity to ask questions...
This is going to bring up a call from Larry Roberts to explain this all again.
Well, we'd love to pipe him in because this is history, folks, where the question is alluded to, and John said, well, go ahead and ask the question. So Larry Roberts asked the question, which hardly anybody hears, but everybody heard the answer. And that's where John said, I never really said we were greater than Jesus Christ. I said we were more popular. Well, that didn't go over well either. Yeah. And especially in the South, there were a lot of people that took the records of the Beatles, burned them. You see video of them putting them out on the pavement and the roller going over top of them and crushing all the Beatles albums.
And now they're sitting there thinking, man, if I wouldn't have done that to the original record.
What was I thinking?
How much would it be worth now?
Yeah. Is Larry still in Florida, or is he back up here now? Or?
Last I recall was Georgia.
Georgia. Larry's a fascinating guy. He has so many stories.
And he'll probably be back in Ohio here before too long.
Have we had him on the show before?
Trying to remember if he's been in here for an interview or not.
I know we talked to him on the radio years ago.
And some of us actually go to lunch with him.
Yeah. That's always a fun time when Larry's in town.
Which you've done once, but you've said, I've done it once. We're not going to go again.
I don't think I said it that way.
Well,
Larry, I did not say it that way. I think I had another
Go back and look at yesterday's show about Mike Smith, the grumpy old man.
I had another meeting that day.
Yeah, with his lazy boy at home.
Yeah, probably not. I would not deliberately miss a lunch with Larry because I think he bought.
No.
And I don't turn down for a meal.
Our buddy Pat McAllister bought.
Well, somebody did.
Yeah.
Because who else was with us that day?
Ray Stortz.
Ray.
Yeah.
Ray Stortz was there.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew it was free.
Which is the only reason he was there.
That's all that mattered. It was free, yeah. No, I always enjoy Larry. He's a hoot.
That he is. All right, that's a look at today's program. We had a special program earlier this morning, not once but twice. We had some technical issues with the first run. But you talked with Commissioner Jack Everson. You want to give some highlights of what he had?
Jack, it was not your fault. We just rebooted the mixer and your microphone worked the second time.
What every IT guy says. Did you unplug it?
Did you hit it? Mac Porter. If you're watching Mac, we remember. We remember. But yeah, just talking about, in fact, 6 or 7 different things that the commissioners are looking at as far as some big news items. So if you want to know what those are, we'll have a clip of it tomorrow morning, but you can see the whole interview now, Aaron.
One of those that surprised me when I first heard it was the potential of a parking garage where the LC&B building is.
Yeah, that's they're looking at the possibility of tearing it down and building a parking garage. So, and there's a lot more information in there too. So give that a look on Litter Media YouTube.
You know, I'm so glad we're not at the radio station. And the reason I say that is because they'd be doing all that demo work and then all that construction work right across the wall from our studio if we were still at the radio station.
And I'm sure the parking lot there would be closed and no
most
more
likely.
ATM machine.
Well, there's no ATM machine now.
I got lunch.
It
so
got moved down to
that's right.
the new bank location.
What is an ATM machine?
You don't know what an ATM machine is?
Is it an ATM machine or is it an ATM?
It's an automatic
Oh,
teller
I
machine.
see what you're saying. Yeah, it's but here's one for you. LCNB. B is bank, but they always refer to it as LCNB bank. So that's like saying bank. So I guess it's machine.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So why isn't it LC and BB?
That's just the way they do it. Yeah.
Or LC and BB.
Because we checked into that, and are you sure? Yep, that's the way we say it. So okay.
It's not free advertising. It's just they used to be our neighbor, and so we're just talking about them there. So, but they're not our neighbor now. All right, that's it for the program today. Thank you so much for watching and enduring yourself and endearing yourself to what we have to say. Make sure you're
enduring yourself. Oh, I've never heard it put that way before.
See how long you can go with this program. Thank you for watching and listening, and of course, we're always there until someone says, "No, you're not."
Get off. Get the hook.
We'll see you on the next program unless something has changed.